Once the roster period has passed and it's been worked, and we're now in the following month, for example, now is the time that we need to finalise those shifts for payroll. As a rule of thumb, just to let you know, the 3rd of every month is the payroll deadline day for the previous month. So we're looking at the August period at the moment. The 3rd of September would be the deadline for finalisation in this instance. And finalisation is, first of all, only the click of a few buttons, but it's effectively the equivalent of signing a paper timesheet to confirm the fact that what we've recorded in the system is in fact accurate, and that's the information that we're going to pass across to payroll. So things like, I don't know, overtime would be attached to that, extended work hours, any sickness would be passed across, just to confirm that that person is going to be paid correctly. The process of finalisation is, as I said, a simple one. You would use the purple bar again. Now, finalisation is the only thing in the system that is done by calendar month rather than 4 weekly. Because that's the way the payroll system works in terms of how we're paid, it finalises a whole calendar month. So you'll notice that actually a payroll period will usually span 2 purple roster bars. A whole one and probably a little bit of one. We do have the 1 month view available to us. So instead of 4 weeks in this instance, if I want to look over 1 month, I can do, and that covers from the 1st to the 31st. And of course I could always just drag the relevant dates into view as well if that was slightly off. Coincidentally, the roster period in this instance starts the 1st of August. That doesn't normally happen, but in this instance it has. The process of payroll is just a matter of making sure that all the information that we've entered and been updating all the way through that period is in fact valid. So it'd just be an opportunity to go through and check the information that you have entered. Presuming that you've done that, the actual process is straightforward. So we would use the purple bar at the top, and I'm going to right click and finalize. Now this will do the whole unit. However, I'll show you in a second how you'd split that up individually or into teams if that's required. The system is clever enough to know that we're currently in September, so it automatically picks the 1st of August because that's the past period. So whatever month you're in, today's date, it will pick the previous month because that's the way that we finalise. And it will usually pick the whole month as well. So just double check the information, but it should be absolutely correct for you. And what it's trying to do within these other sections is just summarise exactly what you're finalising. So duties to finalise, any that fall on public holidays, any Saturdays, nights, Sundays, weekdays and on-call. And then we've got overtime and call-outs to finalise. So these are your additional payments that you'll be making. Any overtime that you've issued will be listed here in the number of hours and what rate that you're paying them. It'll also label the unavailabilities to finalise, so annual leave, study leave and sickness. Although arguably all this information that it's trying to summarise, you're probably already more than aware of as we've been going through the period, you've been updating it, so it's likely you'll already know this. All these tick boxes at the top, as they should be, so you don't need to tick any additional ones, leave as is, and then just press OK. Now by doing that, it'll take a moment to think, but effectively what it'll do is go through and put these little padlocks on each of the shifts. Now the padlock shifts are there, we're unable to change the information. As a reassurance more than anything, if you do require information to be changed that has already been finalised, just give the e-rostering team a call on 5668 and we can unlock them as long as the payroll period hasn't yet gone. Now, of course, if it has gone, we can still unlock it, but it won't be passed through to payroll. So at that point, you'd need to speak to payroll directly if it was pay affecting and it's a change that needs to be made. The finalisation, the padlock is, as I said, the generation of an electronic timesheet, and it's that's passed across to payroll and dictates how much someone will be paid from the system. There's nothing more to the finalisation process than that. The only bit that I would like to show you is the ability to finalise by team and by shift. So going back to the original screen, just right click on the purple bar and then finalise presents this pop-up box. We do have the ability to, rather than just leave this blank, we could filter down. If you have various people in charge of various teams, they can finalise their own individual teams just by picking the team that they're responsible for. As a rule of thumb though, you cannot, just as you can't sign your own paper timesheet, you cannot finalise your own shifts. So if you are the ward manager and you're finalising your ward, everyone's but your shifts would be finalised. And then the next most responsible person, probably the matron or the department senior manager, would perhaps go in and finalise your shifts and you would be the last person on that roster. If a person remains unfinalised, even a single shift remains unfinalised, after the deadline has passed, we are unable to submit your unit on payroll. So please make sure that you hit the deadlines, and if we do chase you, please do make sure that you finalise promptly to ensure that your department is not removed from the payroll, because the consequence to being removed from payroll is that you would have to fill in manual timesheets for everyone for that pay period. To finalise a shift individually, it's just as easy as the bank shifts. You can click the particular shift in question, right click and finalise. This one's already finalised, so it's not given the option. If I move forward into a different period, just make sure it's on a shift that's already gone, as I'm not able to finalise in the future. So if I pick the 1st of September, I can right click and finalise that shift.